Hey everyone, this is MNL2, and today in this video, I want to take a look at some specific elements found on various roller coasters located at Six Flags Magic Mountain, and determine which ones will provide the best overall experience. For the purposes of this video, these elements are not based on anything specific, such as smoothness or intensity, but rather just how fun the element is and how much I like it. Also, keep in mind that I am generally going to be looking at specific individual elements on their own, and not the entire ride experience, because Magic Mountain has a few coasters that don't particularly have one specific highlighted element, but are rather super solid from start to finish. Some prime examples of these are Apocalypse and the Riddler's Revenge. One more thing, if you find yourself enjoying any of my videos or find them interesting, informative, or entertaining in any way, then please feel free to like the video below to help out the channel and to help me to keep providing good content for your enjoyment. Thank you. So just making this list, the Top Hat and Full Throttle's signature 160-foot vertical loop combines both floater and ejector on one hill. Upon reaching this hill after launching out of the tunnel, there will be a solid few moments of sustained floater airtime, followed by an aggressive moment of crazy ejector. Snapping off of this drop is super intense and is overall a moment I enjoy very much. However, it is just a very quick and short moment when it comes to the ejector, as the momentum of this drop is immediately cut because of the early brakes. I generally don't have a problem with this ride being cut short right here, but when it comes to this one specific moment, it does take away from this one moment, and for that reason, I feel that it isn't as enjoyable as it could be if the ride kept its full momentum all the way down the drop. Sunday the Ride has probably the simplest layout at Six Flags Magic Mountain. You launch down a straight track, and then you fly into a 415-foot vertical spike. Though you don't actually reach the height of 415 feet, it is still an insane spike, as the weightlessness sensation at the top is very enjoyable, and it can also be considered super intimidating given that you are staring down hundreds of feet as this is happening. Though I preferred the spike when the ride went forwards as Superman the Escape, Sunday the Ride's spike is still incredible as it is now. Now, technically this is two elements, two vertical loops to be precise, but I am going to throw both of these on here because I feel that these two loops combined is enough of an element on its own, rather than looking at the two loops separately. These two loops pull a very high amount of positive Gs, and it is very relentless as you seemingly don't lose any speed going from the first loop to the second loop. By the time you reach the mid-course immediately after the second loop, I often find myself a little disoriented and dizzy as I try to catch my breath and interpret what exactly just happened. These two loops together are, in my opinion, the strongest moment on Viper altogether. Twisted Colossus is my favorite roller coaster at Six Flags Magic Mountain, but as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, some coasters are just very solid throughout the entire ride and may not have a whole lot of specific highlighted moments. If it weren't for West Coast Racers, I actually would have thrown the Greenside's high five element on this list, but West Coast Racers pretty much gave me a new definition of a high five element in terms of how aggressive it can be. Sorry, that might have been a bit of a spoiler. Whoops. Anyways, the Top Gun stall provides a decent amount of hang time, not too crazy like Flash Vertical Velocity at Six Flags Discovery Kingdom, or Fireball at Castle Park, but what makes this moment significantly better is the combined factor of having another train directly below you as you hang upside down above them. Now, obviously that means that this relies on getting a duel, but out of the dozens of times I have ridden Twisted Colossus, I have gotten enough duels on this ride to fully understand how this element really feels with another train racing below you. Okay, I feel like I've been talking about Scream a fair amount recently, so I'll try to keep this one minimal. Scream's Zero G Roll is hands down my favorite Zero G Roll on a coaster that I have ridden. It has so much momentum going through it, and if you are riding it in what I believe is the sweet spot on the train, aka the right edge seat in the back row, then you are going to get completely torn through this element. It throws you so fast through this roll, and it is not only aggressive or intense, but it is also just so much fun in general. I love this moment, and I really wish Scream received some more love. So Full Throttle is actually the one coaster that appears twice on this list. Ironically, the same section of track basically appears twice on this list. I was thinking about combining these two elements into one spot on this list, but they provide completely different sensations, especially compared to the two elements I combined on Viper, the two vertical loops, which more or less feel the exact same. So anyways, the inside of Full Throttle's loop is significantly better than the outside of the loop in my opinion. And the simple reason for that is, well, I absolutely love hang time. I will take incredible hang time over decent air time a lot of the time too. See why I prefer Flash over Joker? Yeah. So I basically said all I needed to say about this loop. It delivers insane hang time, and it is just such a fantastic start to an incredible coaster. So I mentioned West Coast Racers earlier when I was talking about Twisted Colossus, but now I get to actually talk about it. Okay, so before riding West Coast Racers, I had pretty low expectations just because I wasn't really anticipating a super high thrill intense roller coaster all around, which for the most part is true. This is not a super high intense thrill coaster, but there are two solid moments that I want to pinpoint on this ride. Even though this is technically two separate elements that are pretty far apart in terms of when you actually get to ride them, they are pretty much the exact same element, and for the sake of including more elements on this list, I don't want to list these as two separate spots on this list, especially because they are both equally as good as each other, and I wouldn't rank either high five to be better than the other. Well, actually, I take that back. The high five on the wide side is actually slightly better because the transition out of the high five snaps you the opposite direction of the actual high five, so it does feel just a bit more wild. Anyways, these two high fives really surpassed my expectations and kind of threw me off guard during my first ride. The lateral ejector on this high five is unlike anything I've experienced before, and I actually find it significantly better than the high five on Twisted Colossus. It's such a powerful moment, it's super fun, and on top of that, you get to experience it twice in one ride. Okay, so I promise this will be the last time I talk about two separate elements on one spot on this list. Batman the Ride is, in my opinion, the most intense B&M overall at Six Flags Magic Mountain. It has incredible pacing and super snappy inversions. The most snappy of these inversions are the two final corkscrews, which are only separated by a tight bank turn. These two corkscrews feel exactly identical to me, and so I'm not actually really going to be talking about one particularly, just both of them in general. On the back edge seats, the whip over these inversions is demonic and really throws you super aggressively. I find it to be so much more aggressive than Scream Zero G-Roll, and also even smoother. It is such a fantastic moment, and I'm really looking forward to riding the other Batman clones out there to see if their corkscrews are just as amazing. So this was actually a tough one because I was originally going to put this at number 1, but there was just one factor that I later considered that ultimately gave me a new realization, but I'll be talking about that when I talk about number 1. Anyways, X2 is in my opinion the most intense roller coaster at Six Flags Magic Mountain overall, and for a good reason. One of the best moments on this ride comes immediately after the first drop. Well, actually, immediately after the lift hill, because the drop is incredible too. But anyways, the first Raven turn is such an amazing moment, with the intensity of lying on your back, flying at a high velocity at ground level, and then springing up while rotating upright, then being tilted to where you are once again facing the ground. This element is ferocious and overall super fun, but what element in the park could possibly be better than this one? Well, as you guys know, Deja Vu is a giant inverted boomerang that got removed from the park in 2011. Rest in peace. Alright, I'm pretty sure everyone saw this one coming. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Tatsu's Pretzel Loop is just overall the best element in all of California. Now, recently, X2's Raven Turn has been contesting this pretzel loop when it comes to which one is more enjoyable. At least for me anyways. However, the one factor that I was talking about earlier is the approach to the actual element. X2's approach to the Raven Turn is remarkable. As you drop face first into an almost vertical drop, front flipping you on your back at the last moment, it is a quick and smooth transition. Well, smooth in the sense that it flows well. It's super rough and bumpy though. Tatsu, on the other hand, sends you basically into a nosedive as you start by rising upwards to the highest point of this pretzel loop before wrapping down upon yourself in a motion that is simply outstanding. The rest of this element can basically be described the same way I described X2's Raven Turn, except instead of rotating, you're just, not rotating. This pretzel loop has been getting rough recently, and I wouldn't say that it takes away too much, but it is just enough to be worth mentioning, I guess. I don't know. Still the best element in California. It's intense. It's fun. It's intimidating. It's not smooth, but it's incredible nonetheless. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if there are any elements on any roller coasters that you have ridden that you find to be absolutely stunning in any way, then please feel free to comment down below as I try to reply to as many comments as I can. And while you're at it, feel free to like and subscribe with notifications turned on so you'll be alerted whenever I upload a new video. Anyways, I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.